Hi, I'm Bill Harris, and this is Artscape. Occasionally I will be co-hosting, and today I'll be filling in for Susan Sablam. And for all you Susan Sablam fans, don't worry, she will be back. My first guest is a good friend of mine, Rob Landeck, local artist Rob Landeck. Hey, Rob.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Well, thanks for coming. You know, I've been a big fan of your work for many years, and the funny thing, we were talking in between break here, as friends for a while and as a fellow artist, the one thing we never talk about is art. We're always talking about our kids or sports, so right. It's kind of it'll be fun today to talk to you about your art. So
I agree. It's kind of like our jobs.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like our jobs. We always say it's like a little kid job. We just lay out our crayons and lay the paper out, and we get going. So exactly. Anyway, I want to talk about some of your art pieces, and we're going to start with this one. And the one thing that always impresses me about your artwork is when I see it, I hear the music. I kind of feel like I'm in a crowded bar. I can sort of feel the heat. At least with a piece like this with the guy. What am I missing here? What do you think? What do you want people to feel when they see your pieces like this?
Well, like you were saying, man, I really would like to, when people just look at it, to get a feeling. I mean, to me, I think what drew me to doing the blues guys, I mean, other than the music, is that if you look at a lot of these guys' faces, their faces are they tell a story already. These guys have lived, and I guess it's just kind of a way, I guess, for me to sort of pay homage to them.
I think it comes across that. I mean, I think what appeals to me in your artwork is a real love for the music, and that really comes across. Explain to me the birds. You have a lot of musical pieces, but a lot of times you sneak a little bird in there, and you also have some nice pieces here with just the bird. So what's the...
Well, the kind of connection with the birds is, I think, in some, like, especially in this piece, and probably the one behind you too, is they add a bit of a poetic quality, I think, to it. To me, in doing the birds, it's kind of a, like you notice I do a lot of figure painting, and the birds kind of, to me, bring in that natural aspect. I like, I'm a nature person. I'm an outdoors kind of person too, and I kind of like to bring some of that back into some of the paintings.
Okay.
But like but I think comparing them, I mean, the bird's very symbolic. Flight, freedom.
So we sort of see this is man, and the birds are sort of nature, sort of,
right.
coming in on man there. Do you see a parallel between music and art? You must, because it's so important in your artwork.
Yeah, definitely. Well, music is art to me, right? And a lot of the things that we were taught in school about art also applies to music. The harmonies, the rhythm, things that make things to make it flow,
right.
And to me that's, like I said, I like to put that in there too. It's
That's a good point, because I think when people say art, and I know I'm guilty of this a lot of times, I'll say art, and I'm thinking of painting, but that's really not true. Art is music, and art is pottery, and art is poetry, and acting, and theater, and everything like that. So art is a much bigger thing than just painting.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. You often use found objects in your artwork. Is there significance to that, or why do you do that?
Well, I would say a big influence on my work would be like some of the combine paintings of, say, like Rauschenberg and Jasper Johns were doing, the 50s and 60s, coming through that, and even more the art povera, the poor art movement type thing that came out of I think it was South America, but they were just they just didn't have the art. They didn't have the canvases, the brushes,
right.
The art stores even. So that need to make things kind of just and using the resources that are around them,
right,
type thing. And like I said, it's kind of, after looking at that, what those guys were doing, and it kind of makes you look around,
right.
make me look around to see, you take something and well, we have that whole green movement, upcycling now, I guess.
Right, right.
That's become very popular. So, you know, it's cost efficient.
Right, right, right. That's a good way of putting it.
Right, right. And we're saving the planet and all that good stuff.
That's a good way of putting it. And, you know, what's interesting is, you know, artists like the ones you referred to, some did it out of necessity where they were just using what they had. It's sort of interesting that you choose to do it, but it almost brings it to a higher level in some ways. You know, this isn't just trash. This isn't just things that we throw away. This is art objects, right. and we can make art out of that. I think that's really sort of interesting. Now you have a studio down at Liberty Town.
Yes. With
me, we both have studios
that's
there.
Right.
Do you also work at home? Do you have a home studio too?
I do. Yeah, I need somewhere to store all the upcycled materials.
Oh, right.
So yeah.
And where do you get all this?
Well, a lot of the wood that I get is from just you know, from remod projects that are going around town. Some just, you know, sometimes people put stuff out for the trash to pick up, and
oh, is that right?
And people just, and you know, and it's stuff the trash guys won't take away.
Yeah, right.
You know, TV stands, shelves,
yeah,
things of that nature. So yeah, and but mostly, yeah, just kind of digging around,
right,
and then different different building sites.
So when we have, and if I don't know, eventually we'll get a close up of this. Underneath your painting, you lay down paper. I guess newspaper clippings. You know, all different types of things. Did the things that you put underneath the painting say something about the painting? Do they, you know, is it part of the painting? Do they add to the painting, or are they just sort of random images? And
yeah, no, most of them are come from different music periodicals. Like a lot of them, this one, as I'm looking through it, comes out a lot of out of a New Orleans periodical.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's Offbeat magazine.
So
it's kind of the Jazz Fest Bible.
So this paper that you painted on is from New Orleans?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. Well, now, let me just ask you something. Why would you not use, let's say, a Fredericksburg paper? Or why would it have to be a New Orleans paper?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
But, like, particularly the guy behind you particularly, he's actually, it's a painting of a New Orleans artist, little Freddie King, who he does work with, well, actually another group that I use their paper is called the Music Maker Group, and they're out of North Carolina.
Okay.
And they do some really cool stuff with they help out. They have a sustenance program for musicians.
That's interesting. Hey, can you stick around? We're going to take a little break.
Sure.
Okay, and we're going to be right back with Artscape. We have a guy, Richie Green, on who's going to talk about a fundraiser he is doing. So we'll be right back, and we'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Artscape. I'm Bill Harris, your host. With me, I have Gay Marston and Richie Green, and they have a great fundraiser to tell us about. Gay, why don't you start? Why don't you tell us about your fundraiser?
Okay, it's called Fire for Hope, and I want Richie to take the lead on that. I traveled to Africa for about 6 years, went to train leaders, and I saw the incredible need, just basic needs of people there. And now that I'm finishing my tour of training leaders, I'm kind of moving into meeting needs there, but I don't want to just meet needs in Africa. I also have a heartbeat for our local community as well as our nation. I love all three. And so Richie has created Fire for Hope as a way to raise awareness for a lot of the needs that we're going to be meeting, and he can tell you about that.
All right.
Fire for Hope, just like she said, it's really just about meeting our local needs and our global needs as a community. Our efforts are really just going to be to empower our community to say, you know, we want our fingerprints on this world to be of hope. So we're really just using the arts as a platform, music, painting, film, just any form of art to really just be a platform for the greater cause, and that's just spreading hope to those that are in need.
So let me just back up a little bit. So how did this start? You talked to Gay? And
yeah, Gay and I would just have a passion for it. You know, I see local needs, just interactions with people, you know, you can just really hear their stories, or you can really just find that so many times just hope's lost. You know, I think when we were little, you know, we were all born with this hope that we can do and be anything that we want, and then the world kind of you know, rips at that a little bit. So I just think now more than ever that need's there for just people to just experience hope, and that's really what we want to do.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us exactly what's going to happen with the fundraiser?
So the event, it'll take place February 19th at 6 p.m. What we're just telling everyone to do is bring 1 can of food and $1. The can of food will go towards Fredericksburg Area Food Bank, which will be our local cause that night. The $1 will go towards building water wells in Africa, so that will be our global project for that night. And then we also have a Las Vegas call girl coming, a former Las Vegas call girl, in to speak upon just sex trafficking and how she's rescuing girls off the street and empowering them to have a better life. So we're going to have live music that night. We're going to have live artists painting a mural. And then we're going to have little short films. So the whole night's just going to play out like this night on hope to just, you know, bring hope to the community.
Oh, that's great. That's a nice thing. I guess it's such an organic thing. We really don't know what to expect, right?
Absolutely.
We're just going to put all these artists together and see what happens.
Yep.
It is. We're saying life is kind of our canvas, and it's an experiment, and we're pulling all of these different elements together. And we're going to watch to see what happens.
Right.
It is very organic. And Richie's a young, new artist. He's written original music. His band will play that night. And Jay will paint. And Annie Lobert is her name. You can look her up. She lives in Las Vegas now. And as Richie said, she's bringing girls out of prostitution. She was a former prostitute. So she'll be doing some speaking there too. So we're going to combine all of that and some short films. But it's all about hope. It's all about allowing hope to flow through us and meet basic needs of people, you know, whether it's food, water, shelter, education, or vocation. We're really pouring our lives into that, and we're just going to see what happens.
Right. You know, what's interesting is an artist myself, and I know this, that there's rarely a fundraiser in this town that doesn't have arts involved somehow. I think anytime someone's trying to raise money or awareness to something, they always look to the artist. I don't know exactly why that is, but I think that's a really good thing. So it's kind of neat, Richie. You're putting this together, you know, leaning on the arts, being an artist yourself, and I think that's really noble, and I think it says a lot about the arts, which I think a lot of people just don't see, that artists, even though they don't sometimes have a lot of means, they're always sort of giving back at this. So why don't you tell us how people can get in contact with you, or get in contact and get the information?
They can visit fireforhope.com. There should be information on there. There's also a contact there, so if they want to email us with any more questions that are more specific than the information they can find there, they can do that. You can follow us on Facebook, just search Fire for Hope. And then also we have a Tumblr and a Twitter. So there's plenty of ways to just keep updated with us. And you know, we just hope to see everyone there to hopefully start a movement of hope in Fredericksburg.
Well, great. Well, thanks for bringing all that information here today. And we're going to be right back with one more segment with Rob Landeck on Artscape.